All right, my fellow bearded man, what are we doing here today? We are MK Machining.
That's correct.
What are we doing?
Well, right here, we got a big FDM printer making big FDM things. We have a plethora of printed parts for folks to check out. We run a large MJF outfit. We're just getting into binder jet stainless. We also have our bullpup rifles on display and whatever else you'd like to talk about.
MJF. So a lot of us are really into FDM printing.
Yep.
We're very familiar with that. MJF, it's a little industrial still. It's not quite made it down to like our level.
Yeah.
What is MJF and what makes it more special than the typical layer by layer MJF or FDM?
So MJF stands for multi-jet fusion. It's basically a combination of SLS printing or powder bed fusion if you're interested or knowledgeable about that at all. But SLS, selective laser sintering, you're going to lay across a layer of powder, and that laser has to make a tool path much like an FDM nozzle. Multi-jet fusion mixes inkjet printing with SLS. So every layer is the same speed regardless of how many parts you have in there. It doesn't use any lasers either. It uses immense heat to assist melting your parts along with agents.
With MJF, can you do a lot of colors like you would do with traditional FDM printing?
So there are some smaller prototyping oriented MJF machines that can do essentially infinite colors, but the agents used for those have greatly reduced part strength, and they're not really the production machines. So your raw MJF color is going to be this gray. Here's a cool Glock mag grip that we'll be coming out with. And then the typical finish is you would dye them black, and we have a custom dye machine, and actually RIT, the normal dye company, makes us a custom dye, so we get a more true black than you'd get from other MJF suppliers. And then, of course, you can also Cerakote items. FDE is certainly the most popular.
So speaking of Cerakote, what kind of temps can we expect this to be safe to? And do we need to worry about moisture, like with PA6, there's a lot of moisture?
No, so all the powder bed fusion nylons, it's important that they're not going to warp with different humidity changes. And so if you're thinking in a super hot atmosphere, your humidity is going to go away. So if you started with something that had a lot of water and then it was taken away, you could get weird stuff with printing. So no, both PA11, which we're the largest printer of in the world, and PA12, which is what most MJF providers offer, don't absorb hardly any water at all.
So what's the difference between PA12 and PA11?
So PA11 is more expensive. It has a smaller particle size. So you're not going to be able to really tell with these parts, but it has a better surface finish due to the smaller particle size. It also has a higher melting temperature. The performance aspect, it's about 95% as rigid as PA12, but it has about 10 times the elongation. So that means stuff can give a lot more before it breaks. PA12, if you get it to break, it's going to shatter. You're going to get it in your eye. You might die or something. PA11 is just significantly more robust, and it also has better tolerances. So we do a lot of night vision and thermal equipment. We do a lot of snap fits, and we have to have tolerances down to just a few thou for that to work properly.
And my understanding is a lot of people worry about how much waste is produced with 3D printing in general. I know that PA11 is that a vegetable oil versus a crude oil?
It comes from castor beans, so it's the only polymer that's derived from natural sources, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So it's super sustainable. We're basically like vegan firearm manufacturers.
Right? With MK Machining, what have you guys been up to? Like, what's the main thing you've been doing, and what are you looking forward to coming here in the future?
So the bullpup has been a labor of love for a long time. It's pretty kick-ass. So that was the impetus to start printing. And the 30-second story is basically we had like 1 China FDM machine, 2 China FDM machines, 4, blah, blah, blah. Then we could afford a mill to mill our own stuff. As we saw where industrial additive was going, we invested in MJF, and now we're one of the largest suppliers for that. So making other folks' parts is what I have truly come to enjoy. We have our own product line, of course, but right now we've been focusing on keeping folks happy that we manufacture their pieces. PA11 is our material, basically. It's a little bit harder to print, more difficult in terms of consumables on the machine, but we think the material properties are worth it. We have stainless printing that we're just getting into, so that's right off the machine. This is binder jet. I don't know if it'll focus up close. And then that's a shot peen finish. So you can do really intricate geometries and stuff that you could not manufacture in other methods. You can do extreme light weighting, and we really look forward to utilizing this in a lot of cool capacities. We are a 07 FFL and a 02 SOT.
Okay, I got some ideas for that.
What else? Oh, we skipped the temperature question.
Let's jump that.
So PA12, you're good to a little north of 300 Fahrenheit before you get significant softening. It's a long ways from melting. PA11 can go a little higher yet, and then PA11 softens at a little lower temperature, but if something's not under load, it's good past 400 Fahrenheit. So
Okay.
it really depends upon the use case scenario.
So with you being a FFL and being able to actually print some firearm parts, I assume that
Yeah.
you're open to printing other people's designs that they may have that they've created their own?
Yeah, so what differs us from most of the print houses, say if you Google it, you're going to see like Xometry or Hubs or Jawstech. They will not print firearms related components. I am more than happy to print your sensitive components. We will, of course, abide by the law. That's very important. But yeah, we love the sensitive projects that other people can't or won't manufacture.
Kick ass. Where can people find you, and what's the best way for people to see what you're doing?
mkmachining.com is where folks can find us. I try and keep folks abreast of what we're doing on our social media stuff, so I post there fairly regularly. I'm kind of active on Reddit a little bit, and I make the snowflakes sad. Yeah, they're welcome to reach out, support at mkmachining.com. Really nice
Thanks,
to meet
man.
you.
Hell yeah, dude.